Jayson Tatum has finally made his return to the Boston Celtics for the first time in nearly 300 days and has showed out. Meanwhile, the Celtics started their most difficult road trip of the year with a win in Cleveland and will battle against Victory Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs tonight with another trip to OKC on Thursday night. I'm Zach LeBlanc, Celtics insider for Bleav and host of Bleav in Celtics. I'm here to break it all down for you. So the big story, of course, starting things off, is Jayson Tatum finally in the lineup, back after nearly 300 days since that Achilles injury of not playing NBA basketball. And he made his return last Friday against the Dallas Mavericks, and you could tell just immediately he was still a little bit rusty, as he should be, coming off. It's hard to replicate, like I said, that NBA game action, that NBA conditioning, and so he had to come back into the lineup and adjust things. Starting in this basketball game, Jayson Tatum never come off the bench in his career. So the Celtics, I think a big reason why they start him in this one is that it's a familiar spot for him. You want to make him at least as comfortable as possible coming back into the game. So that's, I think, the reason behind that. Now, Tatum immediately was aggressive in this game. It's something that I think I wasn't expecting to see. I thought he was going to be in. There were times where he was tentative, definitely, but he took a shot literally on the first possession of the game. And I go back to him being rusty. You could tell he was. His first three came up short. All air on that one. And then one of the plays in this game where I thought he showed his ability still to have some of that explosiveness was actually on the missed dunk that he had. A move that I think we've seen him do a lot of times, which I was glad that he was comfortable enough to do it, but to get right to the basket, where he splits the double team on the Nemish Keita screen, getting right to the basket. He comes up short on the dunk, but just to see him get some of that lift off, some of that jump, explosive move to split that double team was good to see. Especially considering, we haven't seen Jayson Tatum play in so long and we didn't know how he was going to come back, especially only being 10 months after this injury. So just to even see him have the confidence to go up for something like that, regardless of how short he came on the dunk, I think was amazing to see. But with under 2 minutes left in the half, Celtics and the Mavericks, sort of back and forth game here. Both teams really couldn't find much offensive rhythm. The Celtics started out extremely slow in this game, and so did the Dallas Mavericks, which handed the Celtics an opportunity to really separate later in this game. But with under 2 minutes left in that first half, Jayson Tatum would finally get on the scoreboard, that putback dunk, and you can see too, he made sure on that landing to only land on the left foot. So he's still, coming through, going through a lot of the motions here, learning how to readjust in that confidence as someone who's had a surgery multiple times on the ACL. Those injuries are never they're always tough to come back from mentally. And so even your first game action, your first, second game action, weeks out, even years out, you're still always going to be a little bit tentative when it comes to landing on some of those stuff. So it was interesting to see that from Jayson Tatum. But then the next possession, finally, like I said, he just saw the ball go through the rim, got those points under him, hits the sidestep three in the next possession, and then after that, he felt like himself. Had a nice play in that second half where he attacked the basket, went into the chest of the defender, and then finished around him. Had a nice little mid-range shot, got open for a three, but also at the same time, his shot looked extremely good. They talked about it after the game on Celtics post-game, Eddie House and Brian Scalabrine, specifically talking about his mechanics in this one. And I think a big part of that was how much time he had off. He's always been a guy throughout his career that has changed up his mechanics, whether it's been, he's gone through a slump and nothing. I remember too, Drew Hanlon, there was a stretch, I can't remember the exact year, but where Tatum, he was shooting the ball. He had a stretch where he wasn't shooting the ball too well. And about 3 weeks later, somebody asked me, what was different because he started to shoot the ball a little better. And Drew Hanlon basically, I think, said it might have been a pre-All-Star break, the post-All-Star break. And Drew Hanlon pretty much said, just adjusted a little thing in his mechanics. And because of that, that's all he needed. So Tatum, the shot looks faster. It looks a little bit cleaner. And it's good just to see because he knocked down some pretty contested shots in this game. And like I said, the Celtics began to separate in that third quarter. Dallas, not with too much in this game. Cooper Flagg, of course, had, I think he said around 60 people in the crowd from there. Everyone in Boston was just cheering for him when he had his name announced in the starting lineup. And he showed out here and there, but definitely was pressing in this game. And he wasn't enough. 16 points for Cooper Flagg, but definitely he had some opportunities where he looked like, Cooper Flagg, but also some plays where it was still, a very high pressure. It looked like a playoff game. The Celtics were playing the 21-41 Dallas Mavericks, and it had the feel of a playoff game. I mean, just looking before the game, the amount of media, the amount of fans, everyone there, the pregame shoot around was just tremendous. It looked like a NBA game finals one, not a game in March. So credit to the Celtics nation. The crowd was electric. There was the clip of Derek White after the and one, and he goes up to Jaylen Brown and he points to his ear. He said, hey, "You can't. It's impossible to hear in here." So TD Garden was rocking on Friday night, and it was a tremendous night to see Jayson Tatum back in the lineup, back playing Celtics basketball, and the league as a whole definitely missed him. And excited now, the Celtics, that starting lineup of White, Brown, Tatum, Hauser, and Keita just looks so much more and feels so much more complete having Jayson Tatum in the lineup. That lineup specifically only played 18 possessions together last year, but now the Celtics just feel so much more complete now having Jayson Tatum in the lineup that they really just went from, a team with a lot of guys that simply rotate through, whether, like I said, the Shiremans, the Jordan Walshes, the Hugo Gonzalez, all those guys, sort of everybody contributes. Now I feel like they have a little bit more definition, more stability in this lineup. Not that what they had before was bad, because it clearly worked, but now you're adding a guy who was first team All NBA the past 4 years. Now you're adding him back into the lineup, and surely, it's still going to take some time for him to get back to the level, but the way he's really inserted himself right now has been tremendous. Now, moving on to the Celtics and the Cavs on Sunday, because this is another game where I felt like Jayson Tatum finally, I talked about how the second half of that game, he really started getting into rhythm. It was like that immediately from the jump in this game. 12 minutes to start this game for the Celtics, or 12 points to start this game for the Boston Celtics. 4 for 5 from the field. Had a nice little sidestep on Evan Mobley, getting downhill, attacking the basket. But the Celtics defense in this game was the real main winner in this one. And I'll talk about Tatum a little bit later because he had the dagger three in this one. But Cleveland, 1 for 21 at a point in the second quarter, just 10 points in the quarter. I mean, that the Cavs in this game, they did take a lot of 3-point shots, and the Celtics defense in total just controlled this game. But the Cavs also had no quality in their shot selection. 0 for 12 from 3 in the second quarter. They started the game 2 for 6 and then went 0 for 16 cents. So including that 0 for 12 stretch in the second quarter. And there was just no quality in their shot selection. Really a lot of early shot clock threes, and then times where the Celtics, I thought they did a great job of cutting off drives in this game. So whether it was doubling on drives, beating the offensive player to the spot, and so what the Cavs do, kick the ball out and ultimately just have to play straight isolation ball. And this was one of the things that I looked for in Jayson Tatum in this game, was how well he was going to move defensively, and he moved. This was a game where he looked tremendous defensively already. The Dallas game, you could tell there's still some possessions where he's tentative. I think in this one, that possession that I talked about is a great example. Donovan Mitchell had the ball kicked out to him, about 7 seconds left. He's got to make a move on Jayson Tatum. Tatum stays in front of him the whole time, moving his feet well in that athletic stance, and just forces a tough shot on Donovan Mitchell. Tatum just moving athletically. I love to see it from him because he's always been such an underrated defender. He's been so good there. He doesn't get enough credit for it. And it was just tremendous to see the Celtics add another awesome defender, because everyone on this team just contributes defensively. Now, the Cavs, their shooting also ultimately wasn't going to, struggle this entire game. They come out hot to start the second half with 12 points in 4 minutes. The Celtics, really what separated them in this game was that defense, but it took them the whole second quarter to get to 10 points for the Cavs. Like I said, they come out with 12 points in the first 4 minutes of the second half. So finally the offense starts to get going. But where did the Celtics go from here? Tatum, like I said, started the game off hot for them, but of course, it's going to be tough for him to find a rhythm on that minutes restriction. So Jaylen Brown was the big source of this offense in the third quarter, working in that mid-range, hitting those usual elbow jumpers, the Celtics bouncing back. I thought Derek White was a big contributor from Jayson Tatum to come back, because now that you have Tatum and Brown in the lineup, Derek White did a tremendous job as the number 2 guy all year. But now that defensive attention shifts to a guy in Jayson Tatum, so now Derek White, he's going to get a lot more open threes, and open threes leads to makes, and makes leads to finding a guy in rhythm. He had a tremendous cut in this game that Tatum found him on for a wide open dunk. Just Derek White really is going to make such a bigger impact than he already does. with Jayson Tatum back in the lineup. And Jaylen Brown in these past 2 games, everyone's concerned about, how's he going to look in these games? Jaylen Brown's still doing everything for the Celtics like he's done since the All-Star break. About 24 points in one of these games, 23 in the other. He's still rebounding the ball at such a high level, being the main playmaker for this team at such a great level. I mean, Tatum in that first game, obviously near triple-double. In that one, I thought that was the impact that he did a little bit of everything. But in the Cleveland game, he provided a little bit more scoring. Brown has had 23, 8, and 9 in this game. So Jaylen Brown's still doing everything for this team. He's fine. No need to worry about him. And that's good for Jaylen Brown, if anything, because it's now takes some defensive pressure off him, allows another guy to go in for some spurts and make some plays. Jaylen Brown, specifically from the playmaking wise, he had a tremendous cross-court pass to find Baylor Scheierman. He's on one corner, and it's a bounce pass to the opposite side, going across the baseline to find Baylor Scheierman for a 3. Scheierman in this game, 16 points, another double-double. His 4th of the year, doing pretty much what he does all year long for the Celtics, defending, knocking down threes, and the big part, rebounding the basketball. He is such a gifted rebounder. For his size, and a big part of it is that he is just so smart, whether it's, making those plays in the offensive glass, tapping the ball back out, reading it off the rim. Well, he did such a great job. Now, on the other hand, too, Tatum also had a beautiful pass in this game, drive and kick to Hauser, spinning as he throws it. Celtics, though, can't knock down the shot. Hauser missing it on a little, he had a pump fake and then just stepped to the side 3, but he misses it. Jayson Tatum, though, gets the offensive rebound, knocks down the free throw. Celtics just hovering up 10 around this game, and then Donovan Mitchell will come back in. So Peyton Pritchard said, you know what, it's my time. And that closing lineup of Pritchard, White, Brown, Tatum, and Keita is just going to be amazing for this team. And when a guy like Nikola Vucevic, who fractured his ring finger, unfortunately in that Dallas game early in it on Friday, literally one of his first possessions, comes over, and I believe it was Chris Middleton kind of swiped at the ball, ended up fracturing Vucevic's ring finger. He'll be back in about 3 to 4 weeks. But when a guy like Vucevic comes back in, if you want to space the floor more, then you can put him in for Nemish Keita. You can still put Sam Hauser in for a guy to space the floor. So there's so many options for the Celtics now with Tatum back, and that closing lineup is going to be so dangerous because everybody can score. Peyton Pritchard was the one to end this game for the Celtics, got into his bag late, spinning fadeaway jumper. Then next possession, his signature, just couple crosses, stepping to his left, knocks down another mid-range shot. I have to give James Harden had an incredible full-court alley-oop to Evan Mobley in this one. It was incredible. If you haven't seen it, you have to go look at it. It was one of the best passes of the year. But the Cavs next possession, right after that alley-oop, they trap Pritchard in the backcourt. Like I said, he was cooking them. So what do the Cavs do? They trap him backcourt. Pritchard able to get it to Keita, and now it's a 3-on-2. So what Keita does, couple dribbles in, draws the defender, kicks it right out to a wide open Jayson Tatum for a huge 3 to put the Celtics up 12 to end this game. Cleveland, the big story for them was that they could not do anything with Boston's offense or Boston's defense, and a big part of that was their shot selection. 2 for 22 in the first half from 3, 11 for 20 in the second. Always kind of just hovering around, but that second quarter really just hurt the Cavs in this one. The Celtics start one of their most difficult road trips of the year off with a win in Cleveland. Tatum, of course, with 20. Jaylen Brown still doing a little bit of everything. Derek White doing Derek White things. Kenny Atkinson had to say he was a top 5 player in the league. Maybe top 5 underappreciated, that's for sure. Top 5 in terms of underappreciated impact. He's a guy that does everything. So we'll take that. Celtics with their first win. And now on to a potential NBA Finals preview. The 2 best teams of the league since January 1st, San Antonio 23-8, Boston 23-9. Last meeting between these 2 teams, extremely close. Since February 1st, the Spurs are the best net rating in the league. The Celtics are the second. Since February 1st, the Celtics are the best defense in the league, the Spurs second. My big question in this one, how did the Celtics guard Wemby? Last time was a group effort. Everyone's sort of on it, whether it was Jordan Walsh to start the game. Baylor Scheierman had some possessions. Nemish Keita did it down the stretch, but the Celtics had no real answer for Wemby in this one, especially down the stretch. Wemby made some big-time plays. And what I'm concerned about as well is the Spurs, they dropped 145 in the Rockets, the 5th best defense in the league. Celtics are going to need a boost of everyone scoring in this game. Guys are going to have to hit open shots, which has sometimes they were up and down in that Cleveland game. Everyone's going to have to make an impact. How do the Celtics win this game? They've got, if the Spurs score, I mean, if anyone scores 145, of course it's going to be difficult to win, but you can't let them get into that offensive rhythm because I don't think the Celtics are going to win a shootout against this team. I want to see a defensive battle and the Celtics play some good basketball. We'll see, too, how does a guy like, of course, Jayson Tatum look? This is a difficult matchup for him to come back into, but I credit him coming back last Friday rather than the next home game of next Saturday because he gets a real some good matchups. Cleveland, now San Antonio, now OKC. If the Celtics can go at least 1-1 in these next 2 games, I'll be pretty satisfied splitting it between OKC and the Spurs. But this is what I think is going to be an NBA Finals preview. I'm excited to watch this game tonight. It'll be super amazing. 2 of the best teams in the league, 2 of the best since the start of the year. I'm excited for it. As always, I'll be breaking down, of course, the Celtics game versus OKC on Thursday. Another potential finals preview. Just a tremendous stretch for the Celtics. Jayson Tatum back in the lineup. So much to talk about, so much to break down. I'm your host, Zach LeBlanc, host of Bleav in Celtics. I'm here to break it all down, tell you everything that you need to know about the Boston Celtics. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. This is Bleav in Celtics.